Murder on the Orient Express is a bad movie. We open up the movie with a montage that will define the rest of the story. Our main protagonist, Hercule Poirot, knows everything. A case of a stolen relic is being judged by our main protagonist, with 3 possible suspects. The officer witnessed 3 priests having a reunion in front of a sacred object. 1 hour later, it disappears, leading Poirot to find another piece of evidence.
A single crack from an indelicate climb with a hard-soled shoe. And at this point, we need an armed guard at the south gate.
Revealing that the chief inspector of the police is the thief.
Does wear boots, and do I believe now does regret inviting me to consult on this case.
Few moments later.
You went with the hunch that it was someone with boots. Wouldn't that encompass any other officer? I understand that he was present with the other suspects, but other officers and people use boots too. How did you know that an officer would choose that way? Why did he go that way? Didn't he hear that an officer would be there and saw the cane at the beginning? Yet he chose the same path. He truly knows everything.
How did you know it was him, sir? From just a tiny crack on the wall?
I have the advantage. I can only see the world as it should be.
He's a smart character, therefore he can immediately know facts that don't need any explanation. Well, it's a murder mystery, therefore we have to have an ensemble. We are first introduced to the governess and the doctor. We get to know that Mrs. Debenham is a governess coming from Baghdad.
I always begin them with geography and monster them till they have the world down cold. They may get lost in life, but I'll be damned if they don't know where they are.
Only to discover that these characters will be going in the Orient Express. Good thing that they just so happen to be on the same way.
We should be out of this, Mary.
Not now. When it's all over, when it's done, then nothing can touch us.
Good thing that Poirot heard that too. Only to find his friend who offers him a seat in the Orient Express, of course, while on his way to solve another crime.
3 days free of care, concern, or crime. You will love it.
Get it? Because, you know, there's going to be a murder.
Have all the passengers arrived?
All but one. Mr. Harris.
All passengers must check in at least 1/2 hour prior to time of departure, or their seat may be forfeit.
I sure hope this Mr. Harris guy is important for the plot. Once inside the train, Johnny Depp's character starts to receive death threats.
Your coffee, Mr. Ratchet.
Who did this?
I can't say so.
Therefore, he tries to hire Mr. Therefore, he tries to hire Mr. Poirot. Fuck.
Until I get someplace safe. It's easy money for you. And it's peace of mind for me, you know?
I understand.
Good.
I refuse.
The night of the murder, Poirot and the conductor hear a weird sound.
Mr. Ratchet? Yeah, monsieur, good night.
Nothing wrong here. Only to hear a weird sound again.
Shut!
Why do all of the guards in all of movies need to be blind? The accident.
Did we die?
Ladies and gentlemen, the train has been
Good thing that the crime wasn't being committed during the avalanche. The scene of the crime.
Long straight edge knife, multiple stab wounds, some shallow, some
cut clean through muscle.
Left-hand side or right-hand side?
That's the thing. It appears the killer maybe closed his eyes.
The doctor finally explains that the crime may have been committed between midnight and 2. Gee, if someone could have watched the killer literally run away. Therefore, people starts to get interviewed. We're introduced to Mr. McQueen, Ratchet's finance assistant, who was in charge of booking his travels.
I'm a lawyer by education, not disposition. Was downright awful at it.
You were fond of him?
I was fond of his money.
Why even provide information that you were a lawyer by education?
Got a couple of nasty letters.
Someone would think that the best decision would be to not send a threat note to Cassetti, considering that Parrot is inside the train. In the tradition of using a useless character to explain the murder, we have Book. They find the body with 12 patternless stab wounds, with a broken clock pointed at 1:15, along with a gun beside the body. On the scene of the crime, Parrot finds a cup with barbitol, a handkerchief with an initial H, and a pipe cleaner.
Yet only one appears, however, to be perhaps genuine. And maybe this ashtray provides the accidental breadcrumb, a charred fragment of a note.
Why leave behind so many clues? Poirot burns the burned letter.
You are mistaken, mon ami. This one has a secret to tell.
How does burning paper reveal letters?
As a strong blood is on hand, you will die.
Did the paper have those paper cuts or ink? And wouldn't either of them catch fire too?
It is not Ratchet, but Cassetti.
I know that name.
Then you will also know the name Armstrong.
The Armstrong case.
The story shocked.
Did you see that? It passed from being something projected to the screen to a memory. But who was filming that from different angles?
Woke to find their only child, little Daisy, taken from her crib as she slept.
I don't think she's there.
Daisy was found murdered by
Ratchet. Who was Cassetti? How do you know this, Poirot?
because John Armstrong told me so himself.
Isn't it too much of a coincidence that Parrot, who happened to be involved with the Armstrong case, be on the same place and time where the revenge murder was planned to take place?
Daisy Armstrong's blood is on your hands. You will die for it.
How did you infer so much information directly connected to the Armstrong case with "as the strong blood is on hand, you will die"? How can you gather the name Daisy from "as"? Catwoman says that she saw a man last night in her compartment, possibly the murderer.
I said check the communication door between my room and Ratchet's. He must have left through there. Sure enough, it was unbolted.
Along with a button.
Might have fallen from his shelves when he was in your room.
I'm not missing any.
Surely Parrot will further investigate the connection between the rooms. Parrot interviews Masterman about the coffee laced with barbitol, which was retrieved at 9 o'clock, due to Ratchet being anxious for receiving written threats, only to discover that Masterman is fucking dying.
The thyroid. Spreading out his stomach, same as got my father, 5 years younger.
I sure hope we come back to this plot point.
The coffee. It appears that this cup was laced with barbitol. You, of course, will tell me that you did not put it in there.
Of course I didn't.
Harman, German engineer, he's racist. That's all you need to know. Penelope Cruz is the missionary. Stravaus is asked about last night, only remembering that she asked for an aspirin from Mrs. Howard, and that she mistakenly opened Cassetti's door.
Oh, sorry.
What time was this?
That must have been about...
Don't be sorry.
20 minutes to 11.
Her current roommate is Mrs. Debenham, who will confirm her statement.
May it be possible that Miss Debenham left your compartment without you noticing?
No, I sleep very lightly.
While Mr. Marquez is asked about his car photos.
Photographs that spilled out of your luggage. There was a beautiful one with a little boy wearing a chauffeur's hat, visiting his papa at work. Who did you chauffeur?
How did he conclude that he was a chauffeur when they are just photos of him possibly driving? He knows everything. Mrs. Debenham is asked about Cassetti and her relationship with Dr. Arbuthnot, only to mistakenly reveal that she heard that Stravals was asked about the color of her dressing gown.
You knew the doctor before traveling. Dr. Arbuthnot?
No.
The next day.
You said, not now. When we are done, then no one can touch us. What did you mean?
You think I meant murder?
Good thing that he heard that. Princess Dragomirov is questioned about the Armstrong family, revealing that she was a fan of Linda Arden, a famous actress and the mother of Sonny Armstrong, making her Daisy's godmother.
I don't see how this relates to our troubles, Detective.
The man killed last night, his true name was Cassetti.
The next day.
The coincidence must seem unbearable.
You may be permitted a coincidence.
Fräulein Schmidt is asked for the handkerchief, only to reveal that she saw another conductor last night.
I know what I saw. I remember because his voice was high, the uniform was the same exact.
Though I suspect missing one button. Sir, I need your passkey immediately. We need to find a uniform and a red kimono.
Only to find the red kimono in Parrot's luggage and the uniform in Fräulein Schmidt's cabin.
Voila the button. And if a conductor's uniform, why not a conductor's pass? Key. Urban McQueen.
And finally, McQueen.
McQueen also had a ledger, all his dealings with Ratchet. Where is it?
The next day.
Monsieur! Stay where you are!
Why were you running away? How did you know that you were being searched?
You tried to burn Ratchet's accounts, but they are still legible in places the maths do not tally, because you have been stealing from him.
Why not throw away the note when the train was in movement?
You stole from him! You thought you would be found out? That is why you killed him!
Yeah.
The next day.
Why would I slaughter my cash cow?
The doctor answers for McQueen for the last night, but he starts to be interviewed due to Pirate finding a pipe cleaner at the scene of the crime, questioning him about his education and being a sniper, along with his relationships with the Armstrong family.
I was a sniper in my tour. A sharpshooter. Saved more than a few officers. The more grateful recognized a fair mind with a steady hand and supported my education.
Why did you tell him that you were a sniper?
When did you first meet Miss Debenham?
We met when we shared the railway convoy car from Kirkuk to Nisibet.
Back to McQueen.
A lawyer by education, not by disposition. Why did you pursue the law, I wonder? Was it to appease a demanding father?
Finally, revealing that McQueen's father was the district attorney for the Armstrong case. You just met him. Did you really search for the background of every single person that was related with the Armstrong case?
Suzanne. He hung his whole case on her. She killed herself. She was innocent.
Are you sure that you're trying to prove that you're innocent?
They tore my old man apart. I couldn't do anything for him.
And yet you claim that you did not know Ratchet was Cassetti?
That's a pretty convincing argument. Okay, then it's resolved then.
Someone kicked in the door, covered my face.
That's pretty convenient. Aren't you going to keep investigating McQueen?
I can't give that much more. I don't have any blood left. Accosting Mr. McQueen, and the real killer is right here. One of you people.
Now that the murderer attacked someone in the middle of the day, wouldn't other people be more conscious of their whereabouts and notice who was missing from the reunion, leading to reduce the possibilities for the identity of the murderer? Well, I guess not. Madame la Comtesse is interviewed, only to find the same barbital that was found along the cup in Ratchet's bedroom.
Your passport has your maiden name as Goldenberg. Jewish, yes?
How can you have possibly known that Goldenberg was related to Jewish culture?
I'm particularly good at capitals. My governess was a stickler for geography.
Are you satisfied?
I am always satisfied when I uncover a liar.
Basically, he realized that because she's good with capitals, it relates to Mrs. Debenham explaining that she's a governess. Was she the only governess in the whole world?
Madame, your name is not Elena, it is Helena. The younger sister, the actress mother. Stage name, Linda Arden. I suppose she too was of Jewish ancestry.
How can you suppose that she was Jewish? You either know she was Jewish or not.
Is it too far to suggest her original name was Goldenberg?
That is quite a stretch. You either know the last name of a person or you don't.
The sister of Sonia Armstrong.
He just knows everything. We pass to the Austrian professor who revealed to not be a professor. Why did he act like one? He reveals that he's a Pinkerton detective that just so happened to be in the area when Cassetti called for someone to escort him.
I watched that hall all night through a crack in my door. Any thug had to go by me first.
Revealing that the Pinkerton detective is actually a policeman. Why? Well, because Parrot remembered a couple of stuff related to the case. Isn't it just a little bit convenient what he knows or doesn't know? The governess, again.
You told me you had never been to America. You also concealed the fact that at the time of the tragedy, you were living in the Armstrong household as governess to their daughter.
Madame la Comtesse said that she had a governess, yet what made you have a sudden realization that Mrs. Debenham was the very same governess? Aren't there other professionals in the same field? What was so specific that it led directly to Mrs. Debenham?
You waited for your roommate to sleep and she did not. You drugged her, but the barbitol only gave her a headache. She begged for an aspirin when the train stopped, when the conductor was on the station, when the coast was clear at last, when you were allowed to enter Ratchet's compartment unseen.
The doctor shoots Parrot.
Then I found Ratchet. Our plan was to reveal him to the police, that's what you heard.
Then why didn't you just do that?
A soldier kills to protect. And now, Mr. Poirot, I must protect myself from you.
Yep, Parrot survives. Parrot finally reveals who is the killer.
We have Dr. Arbuthnot, a dedicated, grateful friend to Colonel Armstrong. He meets and finds solace in the company of the governess, Mary Debenham, who is almost like a mother to the little girl.
How did you know that she was like a mother? When was this established? Maybe he truly knows everything about the case.
Helena Goldenberg, married to a powerful man, no stranger to rage and violence.
So, he's a perpetrator too just because he's violent? Perhaps he was the only one that didn't know anything about the murder plan.
The letter H in the Russian alphabet, of course, pronounced in Natalia Dragomirov.
Why didn't you have this realization while you were interviewing her? Why did you leave your handkerchief? Did you want to be discovered?
Her devoted maid with a chef's eye. Who was she before her current employee? Might I suggest the Armstrong's cook?
How did you know that? Nothing was presented to make that connection. And, just like the boyfriend of Madame la Comtesse, she could have not known anything about the murder plan.
It was you, was it not, in her room, the night when Ratchet came in through the window?
Did you have a glass of wine too many with your supper that night? Have you blamed yourself ever since for not being alert to stop him?
When was any of this presented? If Cassetti hit her that night, why didn't he recognize her when she opened his door inside the train? Couldn't Estrabados at least say that the murderer was a man, considering that she saw him?
No need to divine with me, son. I was Colonel Armstrong's Batman in the war.
Why confess? What exactly made him realize that he would be found either way? If one of them isn't connected to the crime, they all would have been saved. Again, when was any of this foreshadowed?
Was it a bank loan secured by Armstrong allows him to build his automobile empire? He's indebted for life.
Did you truly gather that much information simply by what was spilled during the crash? You just met this person, or is it the excuse of the script that because he is intelligent, then he will simply know everything?
Once a police officer assigned to the Armstrong case, and he becomes attached to someone, for there is another uncelebrated victim. You fell in love with the maid.
How did you know that he was in love with Suzanne? How did you know that he was working in Daisy's murder case?
The Queen's father insisted on her arrest.
Why steal from Ratchet considering that his plan was to kill him all along?
Why else is the train so full in the dead of winter? Why the inconsistent routes? Why the abundance of evidence? Why...
You didn't know that Parrot was going to board the Orient Express. When did all of you gather to make a new plan? Wouldn't that be suspicious?
Who lost his sister? The accused maid, Suzanne Michel.
Why was she accused when there was a clear witness and they knew who kidnapped Daisy?
But for one final performance.
That sure as hell is a great wig.
It can only have been done by all of you together.
That looks like a memory, yet it is being projected. What is going on?
The kimono, the uniform, a remarkable improvisation. The doctor who knows how to wound without killing. Each has their part to play.
Do it!
Again, when did you have so much time to rehearse this? You sure had a lot of synchronization to know that Parrot was going to come out at this very specific time so that he could witness the murderer running away in front of the conductor. You didn't know that Parrot was going to board the train. When did you make all of the plan? Why proclaim to be an engineer or be racist from the beginning if you didn't know that Parrot was going to board the train?
McQueen could arrange he'd travel on the day that Michelle was on duty.
What would have happened if Parrot hadn't come when the governess hit his room door, but instead the moment where Michelle was hitting the door of every single room for everyone to come out in the hallway? Why keep sending notes to Ratchet, knowing that it contains important information, and understanding that the greatest detective in the world is in the Orient Express? When did you plan to get a wig or be Austrian, if at the beginning of the movie you didn't know that Parrot was going to use the Orient Express? How could I have possibly known that Parrot was even interested in solving the case? They all kill Ratchet, change to the regular clothes, and return to the room just in time before the avalanche. Was that also part of your plan? Because it came out surprisingly great. Stab, 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 stab. That place sure looked overcrowded, but you were all silent. I sure hope that any of the 12 people didn't make any noise. Why stay behind and make a sound by breaking a clock inside the room? Was it part of your plan? Because you clearly look surprised here.
Mr. Ratchet?
Severia.
Why not throw away the note through the window instead of burning it? You know, the one note that was so important, all of you were discovered because of it.
Let it end with me. They're not killers.
Stab, 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 stab. Parrot offers them their freedom, but first they must shoot him.
I will not stop you. You can't let them kill you.
Good thing that you have a gun in your hand. Then she tries to kill herself with the gun, but the gun is fake, so yeah, it's really awkward. Are you using the wig? Why?
Book can lie. I cannot.
What happened with that promise? You are a liar.
There are no killers here. Only people who deserve a chance to heal. The police have accepted my first solution to the crime, the lone assassin who made his escape. I will leave the train here to conclude formalities.
You are all free to go. A jury to decide the case? Nah.
I have to take him to Egypt straight away. There's been a murder, sir. Right on the bloody Nile.
Didn't you need to go to another place? Overall, I think it's a bad movie. I just think it's lazily written, just like this review. For example, what happened with Mr. Harris? You know, the most important character in the whole movie. Actually, what was their plan? Wouldn't it be dangerous to have someone that is not part of the murder plan? Isn't it too boring when you have a character that knows it all? Was there any suspicion towards Harman or Marquez? What was the point of their characters? What was the point of the clues? I understand that they were supposed to help each other, but wouldn't that lead to the conclusion that everyone was involved? What happened with all of these plot points?